Okay, I still have no idea how to intro these. I don't think anyone really gets into the flow of doing it until they've been doing it for a little while, so I'm gonna just say hi. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking through my chest workout. Now, every lad that I've spoken to struggles to build their chest, and that's including me. My chest didn't grow until a long time after I'd started working out. Now, one thing I wanna make clear from the start is your chest is a really, really big muscle. Now, because it's such a large muscle, it's important to not get disheartened when things aren't growing that quickly. It will take a little while, but your chest will grow providing you put the right amount of effort in frequently enough, and you make sure with each session you're exhausting the muscles enough and hitting all the areas you need to hit. Another reason you might find it quite difficult to build your chest is that beginners often find it difficult to isolate your chest muscles. Because there's so much shoulder movement and so much tricep movement with a bench press, for example, if you don't get your form correct, you can find it really difficult to isolate the chest muscles, meaning you're probably working a lot more shoulder than you need to. Now, with the way that I like to work out, I leave chest for its own day. Firstly, because like I mentioned, it's such a large muscle to work, but also it places a lot of stress on your anterior deltoid, which is the front of your shoulder here, and also tricep. So I like to do my chest day, then have the rest in the evening, then the next day come at it stronger on my shoulders with my triceps a little bit fresher so that my shoulders get the maximum amount of work that I can give them. Anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna put in some footage overlaying what I'm talking about now and just talk you through the best chest workout that I like to do that hits all the areas that you need to on a chest day. Hey guys, real quick disclaimer before getting into the video. As of this moment, I'm not yet a qualified PT. Therefore, all of the information that I give has been curated as a result of my own personal research and experiences of the best practices during each exercise. You're welcome to do as I do, but anything you're unsure of, please do your own research before going and hurting yourself. Anyway, on with the video. So for exercise number one, we're gonna hit a bench press. Now, everybody has seen bench presses before, and I feel like it wouldn't be a chest workout without one, so we're gonna start off with a chest press. With this exercise, I like to hit 6 reps and 5 sets. Now, if you feel like this is a bit too heavy for beginners, you're welcome to stick it up to 8 reps and do a lower weight, but still make sure that you're maintaining that 5 sets. So like I said before, I'm a hammer on about form. But the reason I do this is because I'd much rather get a perfect rep with a lower weight than have a high weight and struggle to isolate the muscles that you're trying to work. So when you're doing the bench press, you want to keep your shoulder blades pinned back. So you want to almost feel like each shoulder blade is touching each other at the back. Have a slight arch in your back so you can push your chest out. And you want your grip to be wide enough so that when you get the bar down to the bottom, your forearms are about parallel with the floor. You're gonna bring the bar down to about the lower V of your chest, so about this point just here, where your pecs meet at the bottom. And when you're pushing the weight up, instead of going directly up, make sure you're going up and back towards your face ever so slightly. And only bring your arms up to extension, no further. So make sure you're not rolling your shoulders forwards. Make sure that you're keeping your shoulders pinned back as much as you can. Exercise 2, we're moving on to the incline press. So this again will be 5 sets of 6 repetitions. You can go 8 reps again if you feel like you need to drop the weight a bit to avoid the risk of injury. Now, your incline press is likely to be quite a bit weaker than your bench press, so don't worry about that. Just make sure that you're keeping your form right. Now, with most benches that I've seen, especially if you're a smaller guy with shorter arms, you might struggle to get the weight off the rack without lifting your shoulders. That's absolutely fine, but what I like to do is lift it off with my shoulders, and then you'll see here that my shoulders actually drop back before I begin my set. So I make sure to start off my set in a perfect position before going into the rep. Last thing you want to do is rush yourself into the rep and try and correct your form midway through the set. So when you're dropping the bar this time, you want to bring it to the upper V of your chest, sort of around your collarbone area, and then push up again. Remember, when you get to that top and your arms get extended, stop at extension. Remember to be wary of keeping your shoulders pinned back and not rolling them forward, because that will stop engaging the chest. Now, there's one more bench that I want to do in this workout, but I'm going to leave that until the 5th exercise. The reason being is that your triceps will probably be a little bit fried at this point, and what I want to do is keep them as fresh as possible. So I'll only do 2 benches in a row, just so that my 3rd bench isn't then hindered by the fact that my triceps are feeling it a little bit. So exercise 3, we're going on to the standing incline cable fly. So you're gonna have the cables on the lowest setting that they'll go, and you're gonna take slight lunge forwards just so that you're in front of the weights. Don't go too far, but just make sure that you're ahead of the cables so the starting tension brings your arms behind you rather than next to you. With this cable fly and all the cable flies that we're doing, at the moment I'm working 8 rep sets, and that's only because I'm too strong to be doing it at 6 reps, but the next weight that goes up, I'm a little bit too weak to be doing 6 reps there. So I'd rather do the lower weight at a higher rep and make sure I'm getting the exercise done right, rather than upping the weight, going too strong, and not being able to get that proper chest activation like I said before. With all of the cable flies that we do, it's going to be really difficult when you start to get your form right. So just make sure again that you're focusing on a lower weight until you can get the form perfect. And once you've done 1 rep that is perfect, you'll start to feel what that feels like, and it'll be a lot easier when you go up to the heavier weights. Just either ask your gym buddy or film yourself, something like that, just to make sure that you're getting your shoulders pinned back throughout the entirety of the rep. So again, keep those shoulders back. You're gonna pull the weights up, keeping your arms as extended as possible. You can have a slight bend in it, but if you start to feel it too much in your bicep, that's too much of a bend. So you're gonna pull the weight up, but only up until about in line with, again, your lower V of your chest, and try and get that mind muscle connection where you're really squeezing the lower of your chest as you get to that top, and you should feel it start to work. It's worth noting as well, with this exercise I use the really wide grip cables. Now you can do it on the cables that are attached to the same machine. I just prefer it on this really wide grip one. So if they're not available or someone's just jumped on it and they've got a few sets left, don't worry about it, just head to the closer grip ones, you're absolutely fine. So exercise 4, we're going to stay on this cable machine, and you're going to lift it up so that the cables are in line with your shoulder and a tiny bit lower, just because when you lunge forward your chest is obviously going to drop a little bit. And much like the incline fly, you're going to try and keep your shoulders pinned back as much as possible, slight bend in the arm, and bring the cables all the way in and squeeze your chest as it gets to the center. Now with this fly, it's going to be a lot more difficult to tell that your shoulders are pinned back, so just really try that mind muscle connection. Try squeezing your chest as you come to the middle, and you'll start to feel whether you're taxing too much of your shoulder, and if you need to keep your mind on the fact that you've got to keep them pinned back. So for exercise 5, we're going to go back to the presses. Now after this, we're going to go back to a cable fly. So if you'd rather stay on the machine that you're on, if it's busy in the gym for example, and get the last cable fly in, you're welcome to switch exercise 5 and 6 around. It's just I would prefer to go back to a bench, because flies are often very taxing on your anterior deltoid, and if you wear that out too much, you might limit the amount of work you can get out of your chest during these flies. So exercise 5, we're going to move on to a decline press. The bar's going to come down again to that lower V of your chest where the pecs connect, and then push up again until arm extension. Don't roll your shoulders forward, just make sure you only go to full arm extension. So finally on exercise 6, we're going to be doing standing decline fly. Now this is meant to be targeting the upper of your chest, and you'll also feel it down the center, but just be aware that it's very taxing on the anterior deltoid, so don't worry if you start to ache a little bit there. Just really try and keep those shoulders pinned back. Again, we're going to have a slight bend in the arm as you bring the weight down. Bring it down to about a 30 centimeter rule of distance from your belly button. Don't get it too close to your belly button because it'll be too shoulder focused. And if you get it too far away from your belly button, it's going to be engaging the mid chest too much and not targeting the upper chest. There is a sweet spot, but if you're doing it right, you should really start to feel your upper chest working. Now the final thing that we're going to do in this chest workout is optional. I always like to stick a finisher in at the end, just because it's widely known that a cardio workout or something with a low weight and high reps is really good for strength, but also it enables you to really fatigue that muscle right at the end of the workout. Now chest finishers I have quite a lot of, so I will probably do a video at some point just detailing the different chest finishers that I like to do at the end of the workout, but just so you've got something to work on in the meantime before I get that video out, this one that I did was a dumbbell bench press with a low weight, high rep, and I did it for 3 sets. So with this particular bench press, we're gonna lead with the thumbs. So you see in the video, as I get to that top, the thumbs are pointing out. This enables you to really target the chest because you'll stop using your tricep as much to hold the weight up there. It'll also really help you to squeeze the inner of your chest. Now make sure you're being careful, don't do anything silly, but work this until failure. Once you've reached failure on the first set, drop the weights, give yourself a minute or 2 rest, and then go back in for a further 2 sets, total of 3 sets. And there we have it. That is the chest workout I've been doing for the past 2-3 months since gyms opened. And I think it's really helped to grow my chest past the beginner gains. I hope you find this really useful. Now I'm going to put in the description like a breakdown of it so you can just copy and paste that into your notes if you want to take it to the gym rather than having to watch me whilst you work out. I mean, you're welcome to watch me whilst I work out, but I'm going to put it in the notes anyway. I've got a lot of video ideas coming up, but please, if there's something that you're particularly interested in, put it in the comments down below, just in case there's something that I haven't thought of that you might be interested in learning about. But as always, if you think you're going to find value in the stuff that I bring in future, please do subscribe. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.